AITAH for being really honest with my manager in front of her boss? So, I have been a SOM for several years. I worked very hard on our budget, shopping, meal prep ext, and we were okay. We recently became empty nesters. The last one moved out, pays her own bills, got a scholarship ext. I was bored, so I decided to take one of the many grocery store jobs available at the store across the street. My intent was part-time, but they quickly moved me to a different, full-time position, which I do like and am good at, and it pays a bit more. The store is short-staffed and I have been doing my best to help, but recently my manager sat me down with her boss, witness, to have a documented discussion about how I am not a team player, because I won't help other departments even though I am struggling to get my own stuff done because my position should have 3 people but it's just me. They wanted me to sign a paper acknowledging that my behavior was unacceptable. I told my manager, "You need me, I don't need you." In my previous position in management I learned it will cost your store an average of $10K to hire and train a replacement. I also know you have a walk-in interviews welcome sign outside every day and you all are stressing about how short-staffed you are and have limited applications. So no, I won't sign this, feel free to fire me. There are 10 stores within a mile that are also offering walk-in interviews. So, no, I won't sign this. You can accept that or replace me and I really don't care if you mark me as not eligible for rehire, I'll just leave you off my resume and do just fine. Still have a job 3 days later and everyone is acting like nothing happened. But some people are saying I am being the asshole because the management is also struggling because they are short-staffed. Not the asshole, you called their bluff and they folded. You're right. They need you a lot more than you need them, and they should treat you way better for doing the work of 3 people by yourself. Edit. First award ever, thank you so much. But some people are saying I am being the asshole because the management is also struggling because they are short-staffed. I don't get this argument, so how will you signing the paper help? How is not pointing out they have a hard time finding people help? Not the asshole good for you that you stood up for yourself. Management is struggling. And that's their problem. Their struggles with doing their job are not your problems to solve. Your problem is to do what you were hired to do, and collect your paycheck. Do you think management would care if you were struggling? What would they do if you were? I can tell you. They would fire you. Not the asshole. Not the asshole they think they can treat you like shit, and you called their bluff. What was their reaction when you said all that to them? That's the best part. Not the asshole. The only reason these places are struggling is because they won't pay a decent wage. People can't pay for rent, childcare, food, and bills on $10 an hour or $12 an hour or $13 an hour. On top of that, a lot of these places are making thousands of millions of dollars a day on the backs of their workers. Go over to anti-work and you'll find people in the same frame of mind. Hell no, not the asshole. You just said the truth. They want you to do the job of 3+ people. I love how employers are learning they can't mistreat and misuse people now. Not the asshole. It was a scare tactic to get more work out of you. Screw M. Am I the asshole for telling my sister she would have been a terrible mother? I, 17 male, have 2 sisters, Alice, 29, and Miranda, 33. I am much closer to Alice than I am to Miranda. Miranda is also not on good terms with our parents. Alice has 4 kids and is currently expecting child number 5, while Miranda can't have children, which her ex divorced her for. Miranda is very successful in life, she has a nice apartment, works a good job and earns a decent amount of money. Alice, on the other hand, is struggling financially. She had her first kid right out of high school and got pregnant with her second child soon after, so she decided to become a SOM to her children while her boyfriend provides for them. Me and my parents try to help them out as much as possible, be it childcare or money, whatever she needs. I love my nieces and nephews. I take them to the park and play with the older ones, I really enjoy it. Miranda doesn't help out with them, she says it's because she's too busy. Well, she works long hours, but she doesn't have kids, so I don't know what she does on weekends. She also doesn't help out financially, which I find unfair, since she makes so much money and all she does is spend it on herself, although she does give us very nice gifts for Christmas and birthdays. My parents nag her about it, saying she should give some of her money to Alice monthly, and I agree with that. So, here comes the part where I may have been an asshole. I was at Miranda's place last week, as she baked muffins and invited me over to eat some and catch up. We got on the topic of Christmas presents and I told her some of the stuff I wanted. She nodded and said she would give our parents a coupon for a much-needed vacation and Alice some clothes she had mentioned and also some new boots and jackets for her kids. I was a little stunned she didn't have more for Alice, so I asked, "Why do you only get Alice the bare minimum? You can afford to help out more and you refuse to out of spite." Miranda looked at me and laughed. She said it wasn't her business to feed 6 people, that Alice was old enough to make her choices and live with the consequences. She knew what she was getting herself into and that she wouldn't pay Alice's way through life just because she kept having children she couldn't afford. I was stunned at how cold she reacted. I asked her how she could live her life being so selfish and uncaring, and she got angry and told me, "Listen, kid, there are some things you are way too young for to be discussing with me, and this is one of those. Drop the subject or get out." I got really frustrated with her and said something I probably shouldn't have. I told her, "No wonder your husband divorced you. Even if you could have children, you would be a terrible mother." Miranda got very quiet and told me to leave and never come back. She has now blocked me on everything, and though I don't agree with her not helping out, I'm starting to feel guilty for what I said. So, am I the asshole? You are the asshole. You went way too far with that comment. Shame on you. And Miranda is completely right. It's her money that she earned. She has absolutely no obligation to give her money away if she doesn't want to. You and your family expecting Miranda to give her money to her sister that can't afford her lifestyle is greedy. Yes, your sister Alice kept having kids, it was her choice to keep having them. No one owes your sister anything because of the choices she made, especially her sister. You are the asshole, in a big way. Your sister is 100% right about Alice and her choices. Your comment was unspeakably cruel. I feel terrible for Miranda. She's done well for herself and instead of being happy for her, her family seems to think she needs to be a cash cow for her sister's choices. You need to apologize to your sister ASAP. If she doesn't want to speak to you again, you need to respect that and back off. You really messed up here. You are the asshole, a big one. Miranda said it best. She said it wasn't her business to feed 6 people, that Alice was old enough to make her choices and live with the consequences. You, your parents, and Alice have a lot of nerve expecting Miranda to support Alice's poor choices. Not one of you are entitled to a penny of her money. It is also none of your business what she doesn't do on weekends. Edit. Thank you for the award. Oh wow. Miranda is 100% right and you are the asshole. Yup, you are the asshole. That was an extremely low and hurtful blow. And your sister has no obligation to spend her hard-earned money on anyone else. You have no idea what type of history the 2 sisters have with each other. Alice really does sound like she keeps having kids she can't afford. Her and her boyfriend are the ones financially responsible. Not anyone else. Would I ever deny my nieces and nephews necessities? Absolutely not. And it doesn't sound like Miranda is either. You are the asshole and owe her a massive apology. You are the asshole, a judgmental, unpleasant one at that. It's not Miranda's job to subsidize Alice's irresponsible behavior. If she is already struggling financially, why have another child? Oh, because you all keep bailing her out, that's why. Miranda got her street together and isn't a burden on anybody else. Maybe you should see her as an example instead of the baby machine sister condemning her kids to poverty. You owe Miranda a huge apology. Your comments were appalling. You are the asshole for saying what you said and for thinking that she's supposed to give money to your sister. She's right, she's continuing to have children she can't afford, and the kids will suffer most from her actions. Your family chooses to enable her behavior and/or help her out. That's your choice, but your older sister has zero obligation to give family money just see they are blood. That really doesn't mean anything. You are the asshole. Wow, you feel very entitled to your sister's resources and you don't care how cruel and toxic you are when demanding it. I hope your sister cuts you off. And your mother too for nagging, if that's actually the case. Am I the asshole for quitting on the spot even though we were understaffed and it made my manager cry? I worked at a retail store in the mall. The store is divided into men's, women's and children's clothes. I always worked women's and on the weekdays I was always the only employee in that entire section. Yesterday myself and 2 other employees clocked into ours shifts. My manager Lisa pulled me aside and told me, "Your dad's called the store 5 times asking for your schedule, please tell him to stop." I got extremely confused because that didn't sound like something my dad would do. I even texted him and he said he never called the store once. I had a bad feeling and asked Lisa if she gave my dad my schedule and she did. I then told her that wasn't my dad and she had no right telling a strange man my schedule. She got annoyed and told me that it wasn't a big deal and I was being dramatic. I then quit on the spot, which only left her and 2 other employees to watch the entire store. She kept apologizing and even burst into tears because they were understaffed. Am I the asshole? Yeah, no. NTA. That's horrifying. Not the asshole. That's a fucking stalker. Your manager has literally endangered your life. You need to document this. Someone with more legal knowledge can tell you what to do, but if something happens to you, she's partially to blame. In the meantime, make sure your taser is charged and your pepper spray is working. Not the asshole. That's scary, unprofessional, quite possibly illegal, depending on circumstances, location, and I'm glad you stood up for yourself. Separately, if you have a known, suspected stalker, report him to the police immediately. Good luck. Not the asshole but creepy ASF. I think quitting was a very sensible move since seems like someone is trying to stalk you. And you're quite right that she shouldn't have given that info out without checking with you first. As a manager she should know better and apologized instead of downplaying it. Though there's some beauty in her accusing you of being over-dramatic for you to do the most dramatic thing and quit on the spot. Good for you honestly. There's probably a good reason they're short-staffed and it has nothing to do with your decision to leave. Best of luck, hope you find another job quick. Edit. Fixed typo stall to stalk. Not the asshole. It's like Manager 101 that you don't give your employees schedules. You never know if someone is stalking your staff or otherwise being sketchy as fuck. Not the asshole. What she did is a fireable offense for a lot of companies. And compromises your safety a great deal. What if this dad kidnapped you or hurt you on your way in or home? Not the asshole, and I'm pretty sure what she did was illegal. Not the asshole. She gave some random creep your schedule, and expects you to continue working there when whoever this is knows when and where you work. You had every right to walk out, especially after she minimized your feelings about it. Am I the asshole for barking at my ex? Where do I start? How do I begin? To be honest, it's a non-issue for me, but I thought to share my amusement with you lot. Some background. Ezra, my ex, M, 40-ish, and I, F, 36, split in 2018 when after maybe 6 miliotes and he started to show some red flags here and there. I ran for the hills, got over him, found my person, and am overall happy in my life. That's now. Then. I focused on work, him on his new GF, that lasted maybe 8 months. Their breakup also started the calls. First for support, but they soon evolved into bitching sessions I wasn't in the mood for. It got so bad I had to block him. The emails started coming. I blocked him there too. In the meantime I moved with my man, 2 blocks away from my best friend and within a mile from Ezra's baby mama place. I was on my way home from my BFF's, lovely night, I'm all tipsy and happy, headphones in and walk dancing through the streets, when all of a sudden a wild Ezra appeared with kid, 13, in tow. Since I didn't hear him calling me, he decided to rip one of my headphones and started yelling this and that. Basically rubbish on how I destroyed his relationship, never met the girl, so witchcraft it is. And how I'm a huge bitch. Well, so I started barkin'. And kept barking, rising the volume to match his. People were staring, but I'm too tipsy so I'd gaff. Lucky for him, a clever boy, he got quiet quickly, looked around and left. Eureka! Something works. Since then every time Ezra bothers me in public I just bark at him loudly till he runs away. One of common acquaintances is a happy gossip. Apparently Ezra is, in his own words, traumatized by my behavior. He says I'm crazy, and I'm the asshole for humiliating him in public. Am I thought? AITAH. Thanks you, Lita's mom. Wholesome grin. Edit. Awards. Y'all bonkers. Your enjoyment of my life's misery is an award in itself, you dorks. Heart, I'll be diving in the comments soon, y'all funny. Edit. You guys. There are no words, so I'll be here, in the corner crying in my sleeve. I finally understand the real meaning behind the phrase, rip my inbox, thank you times million. Trying to keep up with DMs, I read every single comment, but had to give up on replying y'all. I'm a tryant, thank you for all the awards, seriously. When notifications stop coming. I love you all. Thank you. You are a queen. Not the asshole, and I now bow down to you as the leader of the pack. If only we all could be so brave. Not the asshole, sometimes you just have to be a little louder and boisterous to get people to shut up and leave you alone. As long as you are not initiated the confrontation, shut it down quickly and move along. Not the asshole. You did what you had to do to get away from the crazy ex. If he keeps saying that he was traumatized, tell the gossip acquaintance how he assaulted you, because ripping your headphones is assault, and you were so scared that you freaked out and started to bark. Complain that you need therapy now. Not the asshole. Homie rocked up and surprised you after 3 years by shouting at you with a random kid in tow? This is the best response to something like that I have ever heard, and I hope he never forgets it. Not the asshole. 10 out of 10. Perfect. No notes. This is a genius move and I'm gonna borrow it. Absolutely not the asshole. Excellent. Keep barking. You are my hero. Edit. Take my wholesome award. It's the only one I have.